welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about our thoughts about the Watch What Happens Live episode with Brit Edie.
Oh my goodness. I was very interested in watching this because I wanted to learn some things and I wanted to get your reaction, Blair. I sent you the main part, the part that we watched it for.
Yeah.
And I watched the whole thing and I rewatched the questions because I've learned some things while watching this episode of Brittany. Do you want to know what I learned?
What did you learn?
Number one, I learned that Brit is crazy, right? And I am a full believer of not calling everybody crazy because then you won't be able to really recognize the crazy, right? Brit is really out her mind, in my opinion, right? And I think this interview, this Watch What Happened Live, what she's been saying, this whole press tour that she's doing, it's really proving to me that, you know what? I think she might be a little off her rocker a little bit, right? Do you want to know another thing I learned?
What else?
Here's another thing that I think has been proven to me when watching Watch What Happened Live, and I really want to know what y'all think about this, because I know there's a lot of people who are believing the conspiracies of Real Housewives of Atlanta that believes in, you know, maybe Atlanta, this is their way of getting Kenya off the show, and because they wanted to pay Kenya back, you know. I don't think this was a situation to get Kenya off the show. I don't think Brittany or Brit, whatever her name is being used to get Kenya off the show, because if you watch this interview, there's no way production is priming her and pushing her out there to basically get sympathy from people. And like what she's been saying, there's no way they're using her for that, for like this press tour. Because truth be told, they could have got further along if Brit stayed quiet the whole time. If she just continued to film and said nothing, it seems like the more she says, the more the tide is turning back to Kenya's side. What is your thoughts so far?
Yeah, just when I watched the clip of basically Andy asking her the questions about what did Kenya do to you, what actually sparked you to kind of have your initial outburst, and all she could say was the ring, and then she went on to say, well, it's not actually anything she did to me. She didn't really do anything to me, but just the way that she was nice with the other women and just wasn't nice with me. To me, I was just like, okay, you know, I think the lady just has some screws loose.
Oh, yeah.
And if we're working with somebody who has a few marbles loose or gone, then it all makes sense.
No, it does.
Then it's just like, okay, like if we're not working with all our faculties, then of course you would be triggered by somebody who's done nothing to you.
Yeah.
You know?
And so let's go down the questions that Andy asked her, because there's specific questions, 3 questions specifically that I want to touch on that Blair touched on just now that made me go, oh, you're not being production puppet. Because if you were being production puppet, I think they would advise you not to go on the show, not to do no Watch What Happened Lives, because we can't control what you're going to say. I don't think she would prep for this interview or anything like that, because her lies is literally like she's catching herself in her own lies in literally a sentence apart. Yeah. Like she's saying one thing and then lying in the next sentence. Like Blair said, Andy said, why did you initially go so hard after Kenya? Like what is it, right? Brit said she had something against her since day one. Talking about Kenya had something against Brit since day one. And Andy is basically trying to corner her, saying, but did she say anything? Did she do anything, right? Brit said out her mouth, she didn't say anything. Stop right there. So from day one, you said this woman, Kenya, had something against you. But yet she did not say anything against you. Right? She didn't say anything to you. She didn't do anything to you. Okay, let me play devil's advocate. Maybe you could take that as, hey, you didn't say anything to me, but you said something to somebody else. Maybe, I don't know, right? But then Brit continues to say, but she was so nice and welcoming to someone she never met. Why me?
Yeah.
Who says that?
Yeah.
Because you're so nice and welcoming, you have something against me?
To other people, right?
Why me? So when Kenya has something against you in the sense of doing the poster board, we can all agree Kenya went too far. We can say, okay, maybe Kenya got something against you. But when Kenya gives you a hug and you don't like the hug, and when Kenya actually absolutely say nothing to you, she still have something against you? this goes back to the whole thing that I said in the review. Make sure y'all watch our reviews, to where watch out for those women that like to say, you know what, I don't get along with girls.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because, you know, girls can be real shady and you know, all of my friends are guys because I can't get along with girls. No. We're not just going to erase one whole other gender to where it's like, oh, I only get along with what. No. Usually if you can't get along with people, we have seen throughout the episode and through this interview, you can't get along with people because of you.
Yeah.
Because of what you say and see in your head. Anything you have to comment on that?
No.
Okay, well, let's go on to the whole thing. Andy basically asked her straight up, hey, did you have a pistol with you that night, right? She said, no, I never have a pistol. I didn't have a pistol on me, right? And Andy said, so why did you say it, right? She said, Andy, I still beat myself up every day about it because I allowed Kenya to trigger me.
That really is what lets me know we're not working with a full deck. and the main reason I say that is because if you're going to threaten somebody with a pistol,
yeah,
and you don't have a pistol on you, what are you going to do if that person pulls their pistol out?
Yeah, in Georgia.
And then the other side of it too is I know that there was like an interview or something she did to where she said she always, you know, stays strapped, always keeps something on her.
And I keep my pistol with me always.
So for you to say that you are carrying a pistol knowing, because Andy said that we have a, you know, no weapon carrying,
yes,
you know, type of thing,
yes,
like on set. So we did do an investigation and Brit apparently wasn't carrying a weapon during that time. So knowing that she signed a contract to say that she wouldn't carry any type of weapons on set, why would you put yourself in a position to be put under investigation for something you didn't have? It's all crazy.
It makes no sense.
Very crazy.
That's why I'm like, there's no way production is basically pouncing her around as basically a way to get Kenya out of here, because she's undoing whatever work she did in the previous sentence with her current sentence. She gonna say, I allowed Kenya to trigger me after she just got done saying Kenya didn't do nothing to me. She didn't say nothing to me. And that's, to your point, you hit the nail on the head, which I didn't even think of until you said it. You know, whatever contract you sign and things of that nature, if you go over it with your lawyer, that, okay, one thing that is not allowed is guns.
Yeah.
Right? So to even suggest that you have one when you know on the set, on the working set, it is not allowed, and that you yourself, not Kenya, you yourself trigger an investigation first.
For yourself. What are we talking about? What is going on here? That's why I think she's a one and done. She's a one and done. Like, even
you really go that far?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
even when Andy was having this conversation with her, it seemed like he was trying to level with her and really get her understanding.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, Andy was just like, okay, this is her understanding.
Oh, yeah.
It don't make sense.
Yeah.
So let's move on to other questions then.
Yeah, because truth be told, I don't think Andy is picking a side.
No.
Right. Even though he had the co-host on his radio show, on his podcast, whatever it is, and they was over here ODing what Kenya did, saying that it was SA and all this stuff. We didn't hear Andy say that. You get what I'm saying? I think Andy, one thing that I give Andy credit for, as a person who interviews or a person that controls the pace, is that he is trying to give you the floor to say whatever you have to say. Right now, if you decide to basically do yourself in with your words, that's going to be you.
Exactly.
So the fact that he even said, why did you say it then, right? Listen, you got to be the one to answer that question and do yourself in. And I will say this, though. I do feel like Andy was trying to give her at least some type of lead room to be like, hey, at least land the plane, right? That's why at the end he said, do you have anything else to say about this whole situation? And she basically said that Kenya basically planned her own funeral and did a thing. And I'm like, nah, that I can agree with.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm like, based off the answers that we got here, Kenya, you shouldn't have even engaged with this girl, because she is the type of person that lose a fight and like losing and want to keep fighting.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because she's not all the way there. So I think Kenya shouldn't have even engaged with her, because I think starving her out would have really did her more in, besides this fake limelight that she feels like she's having.
Even the perceived starving out, when Kenya wasn't starving her out, but she thought that Kenya was icing her out or starving her out.
She started going crazy.
She was going crazy. The fact that Kenya wasn't giving her the attention that she expected to get from Kenya. So,
but my thing is, even when she said right here, she was so nice and welcoming to someone she never met. Why me? So I'm like, okay, so you wasn't getting starved out. Okay, she mentioned the ring. Even Andy said, this can't be about the ring.
Right.
This can't be about...
And she couldn't come up with nothing else.
She couldn't come up with something else. And I think, truth be told, please, I am hoping. I know some people want to see it, but I'm honestly not a fan of watching car crashes or even turning my head when there's a car crash on the side. You know how there's a whole bunch of traffic? Like, why there's traffic at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? Because everybody turned their head to look at the car accident. I honestly do not want to see Brit and Kenya at the same reunion. I no, because when you see somebody, because one thing Kenya is definitely great for, as much as people may not like Kenya because she pulled out Kim's chair and things of that nature, Kenya's good at talking.
Oh yeah.
Kenya, like now you're in Kenya's arena when you're at the reunion, right? And I don't want to watch basically Brit do herself in the worst way of going back and forth with Kenya.
I don't mind seeing it.
Okay, you're the one.
I think it'll be entertaining.
You're the one that turned their head and watched the accident. But it's gonna, if she's doing this by herself, she's making me cringe by herself.
Yeah.
With
some simple questions.
You know how much second embarrassment I'm gonna have if Kenya's there to actually ask these questions, to actually give some behind the scene things that we probably didn't see and things of that nature. Oh, you over here talking about I didn't give you a hug, but I gave you a hug. Like I don't want to get secondhand embarrassment because I know this woman is not well and she is starving for the limelight. She's over here talking about, I'm about to lose my insurance license. Whole time it was an investigation. If it was an investigation, obviously you make things up in your head. And then even when we try to do something in the episode as something to celebrate you, to let you know we on your side, that we want to support you because number one, you're new to the show. So we're going to do this peace brunch for you. You over here yelling at Angela.
Yeah. And all Angela did was ask you how did you lose your license?
Yeah.
You know? And then we come to find out it's under investigation. So I did see somewhere where people were talking like, well, maybe she was trying to start this argument in order to deflect so that way she didn't have to come out with the truth that she didn't actually lose her license. I don't even think she thinks that far ahead, y'all. I think that she just reacts to things.
Yeah.
You know?
I think with her, especially at that brunch that we saw, the minute that they said we talked to Kenya, she was like, "Oh, so y'all talked to Kenya?"
Yeah, and then she was mad.
She was off then and there. It just went off, and that just lets me know, like, yeah, maybe she needs to be one and done. I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze with this type of person. I think Kelly's a good add to the show as being a newbie. I think Angela deserves first chair. Sorry, Angela's one of my favorite liars on the show. You get what I'm saying? Because you know how Angela be lying about her family, talking about she best friends with her daughter, but she ain't know her daughter got married and things of that nature. And her daughter over here just taking her grandmother car whenever she wants to because my mama paid for it. Right. Listen here, I like that type of drama. You know what I mean? But other than that, I think Brit needs to be a one and done. Because for her mental, even though I'm over here calling her crazy, and she's that old school crazy, she's like that thin line between love and hate type of crazy, right? Hey, I don't want to see reality TV in the limelight do you in. Like, I think it's doing her in. You get what I'm saying? And that's why I say I don't want to watch that car accident with Kenya and Brit on the same stage, and it's gonna do her in, and she gonna be forced to do something or say something. It's just like no, girl, you wasn't made for this. You was a fan of the show. We gonna send you back to your couch so you can continue to watch the show from your house.
Yeah, I honestly feel like Brit would definitely be a better fit for a Love and Hip Hop baddies type of show.
Maybe, I don't know.
I just feel like when it comes to Housewives, like yes, there's back and forth. Yes, sometimes people get physical, but the initial reaction is to have a verbal sparring session. Yeah. If she can't take somebody saying something about her ring or calling her a peasant, and then she immediately jumps to pistols and whips, then like, okay, we really aren't supposed to be in the same social circle. We're just not.
No. But let us know what y'all thought about this Watch What Happened Live. Let us know if y'all still think that, you know, this is some type of conspiracy. Production is basically pouncing her around to basically do Kenya in. I'm like, there's no way they're using her as a puppet because she's not doing a good job.
Well, I feel like I didn't touch on that. I think that they could absolutely use this situation to push Kenya out.
You think so?
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that they're using her in a sense to say, let's prop her up as though she's the person in the right, so to speak. I think they're propping her up to do herself in. Oh, okay. But I think that because the situation presented itself, why not give Kenya a heavier punishment because we can do that?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm not against that because they can use Brit as a puppet because in
use
their
the situation.
Yeah, because in their head they're like, we go get rid of you,
right?
But as long as we get rid of the big fish. You know what I mean? Like we will use the situation. And truth be told, I understand that what Kenya did was wrong and it was blurred out, but come on now. That was a reaction to the action. Sit both of them down. Anything else?
That's all I got.
Subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. I want to hear what y'all thought about that. Watch What Happened Live. So I'll see y'all.
Bye.